Residents of the city of Alexandria would have you believe that it is the only Alexandria in Northern Virginia, but that just isn't the case. There's also Alexandria, Fairfax County. Oddly enough, it's larger than the city of Alexandria.
In addition to being larger than the city of Alexandria, it was actually here first. We were here first.
We were here first. So the city of Alexandria actually ceded to the District of Columbia and became Alexandria County of the District of Columbia. Then it reseeded and became the city of Alexandria. All the while, Fairfax County existed, and so did Alexandria, Fairfax County. But again, residents of the city of Alexandria, no disrespect, but this video is not about the city of Alexandria. We're talking about Alexandria, Fairfax County, and everything you need to know about it. So there are a few things you want to know, and in this video, we're going to cover the 7 things that you just absolutely want to find out before narrowing down where you're going to live. So we're going to give you the ins and outs, the pros and cons of living here in Alexandria, Fairfax County.
We're talking about the location, we're talking about the types of homes, we're talking about the schools, we're talking about transportation, commute, and my favorite part, we're talking about restaurants.
Hey, I'm Crystal.
And I'm Abraham, and this is Where to Live in North Virginia. I'm your favorite YouTube real estate agent in this area. So on this channel, we cover everything related to real estate, and my phone number and email address is going to magically appear right here on the screen. If you need to get in touch with me, call me or email me. I'm the one who answer and respond to all those messages. There's also a perfect home questionnaire in the description to this video. Fill it out if you want to get immediate access to me. If you're moving to Fairfax County, there is a playlist dedicated to all my videos for the Fairfax County area. The link will be up here. So let's get into the video about Alexandria in Fairfax County. Alexandria, Fairfax County is located right outside of the Beltway, the southeastern part of the Fairfax County region. But for the remaining of this video, we're just gonna call it Alexandria because you know what? No one really calls it Alexandria, Fairfax County.
No one calls it Alexandria,
right?
Fairfax County.
But it's important to know what the name is. In Alexandria, you could find all types of properties from condos, townhouses, to single family homes. And the price ranges vary from the low 100,000s to multiple millions of dollars. Now, this is still Fairfax County, so when I say low 100,000s, I'm talking about really like 300,000.
The first area we're going to talk about is going to be the northern part of Alexandria. And in that area, you're going to see neighborhoods like Wilton Woods, Jefferson Manor, and also Huntington. Wilton Woods is going to be an area of some larger single family homes, usually built, I would say like mid to late 90s, although there are a couple of newer neighborhoods in that surrounding area, usually larger homes. Some have been renovated. Usually when they come on the market, as far as sales, they've usually been renovated. But these are larger homes on pretty big lots.
Actually, we just had a client that just purchased a property in the Wilton Woods area, and they moved from a townhouse in Kingstown to a single family home in the Wilton Woods area. I would say that the Wilton Woods area is more of like a move up community where someone maybe started their life in either a condo or a townhouse, most likely a townhouse. They have young kids, and then as their kids are moving from the early parts of elementary school, they're going into maybe the later parts of elementary school or going into middle school, and people usually move to that area to secure a bigger house, have a bigger lot, have bigger bedrooms for the kids and stuff like that. I would say it's like a move up.
It's a move up area, definitely. I mean, those larger lots means more space to play outside, you know?
Right, bigger barbecue grills, right? You get the gas grill, you get the charcoal grill, you get the smoker, all on one deck. You know, these places are huge.
Now, conversely, you're probably gonna find just the opposite in Jefferson Manor, where you're gonna see lots of duplexes. Again, nice sized yards, usually a decent sized back and front yard, but just smaller properties. Like I said, duplexes, so usually 2 to 3 bedrooms and 2 to 3 levels. That's the kind of area I say that we probably would have lived before we had kids.
Yes, I would say that Jefferson Manor, or even the next area you're about to talk about, which is Huntington. But even for Jefferson Manor, we had a client that bought in Jefferson Manor and they liked the size of the yards. I think you will have to adjust to the fact that the units themselves are smaller.
They are.
They're smaller, so they're not going to be like Kingstown, the development we're going to talk to you about later on in the video. But again, it's super convenient. You can easily access the metro station. There are a few things to do. I mean,
there are a couple of restaurants in,
right.
well, smaller restaurants, more like takeout, carry-out places
Yeah.
rather than traditional sit-down spots. But
Exactly.
I think it's a great place, particularly if you're a commuter.
Yes.
You know, the Huntington Metro is just right there. A lot of people actually will just walk or bike right over there rather than driving and parking. So,
That's
I mean,
true.
that's one convenience. And like I said, the next area is Huntington, which is the only area in Alexandria, not just on our list, but in Alexandria where you can find high-rise condos.
That's true. And I'm a condo type of guy. I would love to live in a condo, but I have 2 kids. My
Two
wife
kids.
says that they need grass, although I haven't seen them use the grass.
They use the grass.
They do,
use
but
the
they don't
grass.
eat the grass. You know, anyway, they don't graze.
They need the space. They
yes.
need the
She
space.
said,
They run
that's-
up and
she
down
said.
those 3 levels. They need the space.
That's true. That's true. But I think that you see a lot of more geared towards more younger families, younger people in general. You get a very quick commute. We sold a house there, I think, early last year. One of our clients bought over there, and kid you not, their backyard backed up to the metro station. So
Yes.
they could just walk straight to the metro. And I knew that they would have a lot of great experiences living in that property. So that's one of the advantages to living in the Huntington area. Another thing I like about Huntington is that it's the closest part of Alexandria, Fairfax County to City of Alexandria, and it's right by the Carlisle area. Carlisle area there's a lot of businesses, the patent office is over there. So we have a lot of friends that work at the patent office. And there's a movie theater over there. There's a couple of restaurants over there. There's a Sweet Fire.
Tavern?
Yeah, no, what was the place that we went to? The barbecue place?
Oh, Sweet Fire Donna's.
Sweet Fire Donna's,
We have
yes.
a video about that.
We
on the
will have a
channel.
video. I don't think that video is up yet,
Okay,
but stay tuned. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications because we will have a review of Sweet Fire Donna's on our channel. They have great barbecue, delicious desserts. Oh, you know what? Let's stop talking about restaurants. Anyway, back to what this video is about. The western part of Alexandria is going to be where we live, which is in the Kingstown, Franconia area, right? So let's first of all talk about Kingstown.
So when people talk about Kingstown, they're really talking about the greater Kingstown area. Kingstown itself is actually a huge planned subdivision. It's actually the second largest planned subdivision in Northern Virginia, or in Fairfax County, I should say. So right now we're in the western part of Alexandria. And like I said, there's gonna be Kingstown, but also we're gonna talk a little bit about Franconia and the differences between these 2 areas in the western part of Alexandria.
In Kingstown, there's all types of property types. You have condos, you have townhouses. Even with the townhouses, you have small townhouses, you have large townhouses, you have single car garage, you have
2-car garage.
2-car garage. And then you also have single family homes. With the single family homes, you have small single family homes that only have 2 bedrooms. Then you have single family homes that have 4 bedrooms. I think there's also a 5-bedroom. I think we showed a 5-bedroom. There's also these things called duets, which are like single family townhouses.
Yes, those
in my
are-
opinion.
Those are interesting.
They're large single family homes that are connected just to one side. I think one side is
Yeah, they
connected.
have one common wall.
Right, they have one common wall. So there's a wide variety of housing types. Also in Kingstown proper, the community, there's also 55 plus living. There's also talk right now, when you watch this video, when we film this video, we're filming it in 2021. There's conversations about adding additional townhomes.
Including a double-decker townhome design, which is causing a lot of uproar in the HOA.
Exactly. But, you know, what would a HOA be if it did not have conflict?
So Kingstown is a great area, not just because of the variety of homes available, but because there's so much as far as entertainment, dining, and shopping options. So in Kingstown, there's a Kingstown Town Center, which has all of your big box stores like your TJ Maxx's and your Home Goods, World Market. We have every supermarket you could possibly need, including a
true.
Walmart.
That's true. And a Wegmans.
We have a Wegmans.
Yes, people are serious about
Yes.
Wegmans here.
And we just got an Amazon Fresh maybe like 6 weeks ago.
Amazon Fresh is amazing. We just have
we
to,
love
I want to
Amazon
talk about
Fresh.
Amazon Fresh just a little bit. Amazon Fresh has these baskets that you could just drop your items in, and then you push them through this little area to check out. It's just amazing. It's super quick. I love the produce section at Amazon Fresh as well. And I love the fact that I could return my Amazon items
At the Amazon
when I
Fresh
get my
store.
groceries.
Yes,
That's
that is
amazing.
convenient. And actually, correction, the Amazon Fresh store, although it's right outside of Kingstown, it is just across the line. So it's
Right,
technically
right.
in Franconia.
I include it.
So yeah, people in Kingstown, we claim it.
Yes.
But it is technically in Franconia, even though it's like 3 blocks from our house. So that brings us to Franconia. So Franconia it's a little bit older than Kingstown. Properties there are going to be built anywhere from like 1950s up until like the early 2000s.
Right.
But you're still going to see that same thing. You're going to see condos, garden style condos, usually no more than 2 to 3 levels. Townhouses, again, they have the older townhouses that are built in like the 70s and 80s, a little bit on the smaller side, up to some larger, newer townhomes that were built within like the last 10 to 15 years. And on top of that, there are lots of single family homes, significantly more single family homes than what you find in Kingstown.
Exactly.
And again, a variety of styles and types. You're talking about small ramblers all the way to huge estates.
Now that we've covered everything to the north of Alexandria, let's move to the south, specifically Mount Vernon.
You may have heard of George Washington's Mount Vernon because George Washington used to own all the land in Mount Vernon. So just like his estate, that's the name of the area. So in Mount Vernon, you're pretty much gonna see mostly single family homes.
Yep.
And you're gonna see a variety of styles and types, from ramblers starting in the low 600s all the way to huge multi-million-dollar estates on and near the Potomac River.
That's true. Those things are monsters. Some of those houses are monsters, and they cost monster prices.
They cost monster prices, they do. So from there, we move kind of southeastern to areas like Fort Hunt, Bellhaven, and Highland Halls. So again, almost exclusively gonna find single family homes in those areas, all on pretty good sized lots, beautiful homes. In Highland Halls, you're gonna see older homes like that mid-century modern, a lot of like one level, single level living, but
Right.
open concepts. I just love those.
She does love
I do
those.
love those.
Also, they have those large windows. I love the windows. And then,
Like the single pane windows.
yes,
Oh,
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, those are nice. One note about Fort Hunt before we start talking about the commute. Fort Hunt would be the most expensive part of the Alexandria region. You're going to find some beautiful homes. Some of them are going to be on very large lots, but just know that they all come with a hefty price tag.
That's true. You're actually going to find some riverfront homes just like you would in Mount Vernon, and you can expect to pay a little bit more than you would pay in the Mount Vernon area for those. Now, you can find some smaller, older single families in like the $700,000 price range.
Right. Right.
But a lot of the area is going to be a little bit pricier.
That's true. That's true. Don't you love how we just casually talk about $700,000?
That could be a first-time home for many people here, so.
That's true. That's true. Next up is commute times. Now, with the Alexandria area, your commute time will vary depending on what part of the area you live in. Now, there's only one metro stop that's actually in Alexandria, right? But both of the other 2 metro stops, right, they are right outside of Alexandria. The Van Dorn stop, right outside of Alexandria. The Franconia Springfield stop, right outside of Alexandria.
And the one that is actually in Alexandria is the Huntington Metro.
That's right. So there's 3 metro stops that you have access to. I will say that if you live in the southern part of the Alexandria area, you probably are just using the GW Parkway to either travel up to the King Street metro stop. You're most likely not coming all the way through or weaving through the area to come to those other 3 metro points. So in addition to having access to the metro, you also have access to, if you live in the northern part of the region, you have access to the Mixing Bowl, which will give you access to all of the interstates that service the Northern Virginia area, minus 66 and the Dulles Toll Road, right? Those are, of course, in the northern part of the county. And you also have an easy on-ramp to the HOV lane, which I love and use regularly. If you move into the Fairfax County area with the family, or maybe you're thinking about starting a family, then you're probably interested in knowing what type of schools are available in the area.
So what we found is that there's a lot of conflicting information about the schools online. If you're looking at greatschools.org or niche.com, there's going to be a lot of contradictory information on their rating systems, despite the fact that they use the same stats supposedly to come up with these numbers. On Great Schools in Alexandria, you're going to find ratings all the way from a 1 to like a 7 or 8. And then if you look at niche.com, they say the schools are pretty good. They have anywhere from an A- to a B-, but nothing below that. So what we know as parents here in the area ourselves is that we're pretty pleased overall with the experience that we've had with the schools that our boys have attended so far.
Right,
And
our kids are going into the 8th grade, and then we have another kid that's going into the 6th grade.
Yes, and so we've experienced 2 different schools so far, both elementary and secondary, and we've been pleased. And from our peers, our friends, and also our clients, they've pretty much echoed that. And so I try not to put too much weight on what I find online, and me personally, I try to get insight from other parents. I think a great way to do that is to search out online forums, because again, as I said, those numbers can just vary from one forum to another. Now, what I will say is, The schools in the northern part of Alexandria do tend to do a little bit better as far as ratings. Edison and Hayfield both are rated higher than the other two high schools in the area, which are Mount Vernon and West Potomac. And if you talk to a lot of families who live in the areas that are zoned for West Potomac and Mount Vernon, many of those parents actually choose to put their kids in private school for middle and high school, which isn't something you see so much in the Hayfield and Edison areas.
And even if you did keep your kid in one of those schools, we still know people who have gone to great universities after attending those schools, and Fairfax County as a whole has a high graduation rate.
And usually what we see is that those high schools that do really well typically have better rated elementary schools as well. And one thing that is actually an anomaly is that there's this one school in Fort Hunt that's one of the best elementary schools in Fairfax County. That school is one of the most highly rated elementary schools, called Waynewood.
Right.
Oddly enough, it feeds into one of the lowest rated high schools. So again, I just say take those ratings with a grain of salt, find resources online, and if you can find someone who knows a little bit about it and give you a personal story or their personal experience, I think that's so much better than just blindly looking online.
That's true, that's true. We have 2 kids, and both of our kids are having different experiences in the same schools, right? So, you know, your kids are going to probably be the same.
In that they're different. And every kid is different, and their experiences are going to be different. And so just keep that in mind when you're looking at the schools in the area.
It's time for the intermission. Thank you so much for chiming in and watching this far. Let us know in the comment section by typing Alex if you made it this far in the video. We do these videos as a form of research in the area so that you can have a little bit more information when you either move to the area or if you're moving around the Fairfax County area. And this is almost like an interview, right? So I'm interviewing for the job to represent you in either buying a home, selling a home, or investing in real estate. My phone number will be right here with my email address as well. You can also fill out the Perfect Home questionnaire in the description. There's a link in the description. Once you fill out that Perfect Home questionnaire, we will schedule a time to meet online, and I'll answer any questions that you have about the Northern Virginia area. So let's get back to our show. If you're interested in new construction, you're not going to really have a lot of options in Alexandria. Everything's kind of built out already. So when we do see new construction, it's usually a builder that either purchased a pre-existing farm or it's somebody who tore down an existing property. So you have this mansion type vessel that's kind of situated among smaller type ramblers.
Yeah, ramblers and Cape Cods. We recently had a client you took out, and they were looking for a new construction home in the Mount Vernon area. And sure enough, when Abraham got there with the buyers, there were 3 McMansions along a slew of Cape Cods and bungalows.
Yeah.
And it's just that, and if you're interested in, or you're fine with being a part of a neighborhood revitalization, or if you don't mind being first in on that, then hey, that's great. But otherwise, you're not gonna see a whole lot of new construction. Every now and again, you know, there'll be a few in different pockets or areas. Like there are 2 new 55+ communities in the greater Kingstown area where a builder bought a couple of lots or what have you, but we just don't see a lot of large scale new development in Alexandria.
When we do see new construction, if that's something you're interested in, you should look in the Mount Vernon, the Fort Hunt, and the Belhaven area. Now, there are some sprinkles building a lot in the Franconia area. You're not gonna really find too much in the Kingstown area, and that's about it really for new construction in our area. Next up on our list is parks and trails. And boy, will I tell you, people love their trails in Northern Virginia.
We have thousands of miles of trails, and honestly, it's one of the biggest surprises when we moved here is how often you see your neighbors out running and jogging. We're just like,
did somebody's car break down?
Like, why is everyone walking everywhere? And
everyone.
Now we're those people.
People here are super active, and specifically in Kingstown, not that I'm trying to sell you on living near me, although that would be amazing. In Kingstown, we have trails that weave through our neighborhood and our community. So in the mornings, I walk with my boys through the trails. Sometimes you also use the trails as well. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the evening. So trails are everywhere. We're actually filming this video next to the Mount Vernon Trail that travels along the side of the George Washington Parkway all the way to DC, through Crystal City, through city of Alexandria, by the airport, the national airport. So
it's 17 miles.
Yes.
So yeah, from George Washington's estate all the way to Theodore Roosevelt Island in DC. It's one of the most popular trails. There's a bunch of connecting trails throughout, as he said, the different areas that will lead you to the Mount Vernon Trail. So people here like to walk, they like to bike.
Yes.
In addition to the thousands of miles of trails, we have so many parks. We have a number of regional parks, Fairfax County parks, neighborhood parks. People here enjoy the outdoors. One of our favorite parks is Huntley Meadows, which is located in Fairfax, Alexandria. It's in the High Bluff Valley neighborhood. It's been one of our favorite parks for years. Oddly enough, after visiting it for years, we found out that there are two other entrances. Well, there's 3 entrances total. We found out about the 2 other entrances.
Right.
And for years, we've been going to check out the meadow and the pond, and we thought it was beautiful. Knew it was an area that birders like. We're like, oh, they must checking out the birds near the pond. No, we went to one of the other entrances last year and found out that there's an entire boardwalk. That's where the birders are.
Yes.
So if you park at the Lockheed entrance, you can actually take a quick trail, hike down the trail. See, another trail. Take a quick hike down the trail and you make it down to the Huntley Meadows boardwalk, which is just beautiful. It's one of the most breathtaking views in Alexandria.
Speaking of Huntley Meadows, we have a video walking tour that you can check out. It's from the fall or the winter season.
It is.
We have to
from
go
winter.
back. We have to go back and do another video walking through for the summer season. We're in the summer right now. So yeah, put that on our to-do list and also come back to the channel, check that out.
Yeah, so that's just one of literal dozens of parks that you should check out here in Alexandria. On top of the parks and trails, we also have a number of rec centers here. There are 9 Fairfax County rec centers.
But what is a rec center?
So a rec center is a recreational center where you can go out, hang out, and do all types of different activities. So the rec center here has all type. You like the tennis courts. They have lighted tennis courts, outdoor tennis court. There's football field, soccer, indoor basketball.
Full gym.
Full gym, swimming, lots
Indoor
of different
swimming.
indoor swimming. Lots of different activities. Personally, actually all of the rec centers offer a number of different camps. So you're talking about summer, winter camps, spring break camps. They have daycare centers. So lots of different things offered there.
And so the differences between the 2 rec centers, there's the Lee District Rec Center that's near the Kingstown area.
Yeah, that one is in, and then there are 2 others in Alexandria, actually.
Oh,
so
excellent.
then there's going to be the George Washington Rec Center, which is in the Mount Vernon area, and then the Mount Vernon Rec Center, which is oddly enough in Fort Hunt. And so we have, and so we have 3 rec centers. 3 of the 9 are here in Alexandria. They all offer all those things I mentioned before, including Lee District has some really great trails. There's a Kid Center Nature Trail there that has a sculpture garden, as well as some musical influences.
At the Lee District one, there's also the Splash Park.
Oh, Chessie's Big Backyard.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a free splash park. Our kids loved it for years.
When they were little babies.
When they were little kids, yeah. I don't know if they would enjoy it so much now. They're tweens. But when they were little, they loved Chessie's. Oh yeah, he is a teenager now. Okay, we have one teenager, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, that's a great place for families to hang out, and there's also a huge park right next to Chessie's. And by park, I mean like a play area for kids. And there's a carousel, which on occasion is on, although I've only ever seen it on once in all the years we lived here.
It's the weirdest carousel
I've
ever seen. Yeah.
On top of that, we do have Mount Vernon, as I was saying. It has an NHL-sized ice rink. So if you have a little one who's interested in ice skating or hockey, they do have leagues there for that. And it's like a full-service ice rink with like warming rooms and lockers and skate sharpening and everything else that people who ice skate want.
Right,
I don't ice skate.
Well, I have ice skated in the past.
I have friends who kids play hockey, so I know that it has like everything you need for that.
I will say though, I know that we're kind of gearing this towards people who have kids. If you ice skate, right?
That's true.
Go visit.
There's a full gym. I mean, the gyms there, you can join as a Fairfax County resident, you can join any of those gyms, and you can use all 9 locations as well.
Right.
So a lot of HOAs have gyms, but if your HOA doesn't have a gym, or if you're looking for a full gym experience and not just like a fitness room, check out the rec centers because they have, you remember the gym for a little while, right?
I was a member of the gym. I will also add that the rec centers are located in different areas because they're really more or less like neighborhood community centers, right? And you'll find that some of your neighbors, if they're not affiliated with a big brand gym, they'll be affiliated with a rec center. So just think of the rec center as like a community center for your neighborhood. One of the things that comes up often when we're talking to clients that we either meet through the YouTube channel or some of our friends is diversity. As a real estate agent, my hands are tied when it comes to kind of having like an in-depth conversation about diversity because it's considered steering. But based on the stats, right? Not something I'm thinking about or something I'm just making up. Based on the stats, Alexandria is one of the most diverse areas in Fairfax County.
That's true, and it's getting more diverse. Actually, the new census that just came out recently, and it showed that the area is actually more diverse than it was 10 years ago.
That's right.
The most diverse areas are going to be Kingstown, Franconia, Groveton, and Mount Vernon. And not surprising, the least diverse is going to be the most expensive area in Alexandria, and that's going to be Fort Hunt.
And we see that pattern all throughout the county. So the least expensive areas are going to be more diverse. The more expensive areas are going to have the least diversity.
Now, if you want more information about that, one thing you can do is check out city data. I recommend searching by zip code on there rather than searching for Alexandria because it's hard to filter out the city of Alexandria from Alexandria, Fairfax County.
Right.
But if you look at the specific zip codes on city data, or if you look at the schools, you can look at the demographics on the school website and it'll also give you a breakdown of the diversity numbers for each individual school.
That's correct. That's correct. And also, I would say that the diversity for the school is almost like a key indicator or a leading indicator for the diversity in the neighborhood.
Here in Alexandria, you are in the suburbs, so you can expect to find what you find in any suburb in the U.S., which is lots of chain restaurants. We have your typical fast food favorites, as well as a lot of those fast casual places you probably see throughout the country. But we have some locally owned spots too, and a lot of diversity in the types of food that's available here. No, it's not as much as the city of Alexandria or DC, but I think regardless of what you're looking for, you can find a nice family-owned, small-owned restaurant here in Alexandria. Along Richmond Highway or Route 1, like I said, you're gonna see all of those chains that you're used to, but you're also gonna find a whole bunch of small restaurants, family-owned restaurants. So you're gonna find Su Pollo, Peruvian chicken, which is
our favorite chicken spot. Well, my favorite chicken spot.
His favorite chicken spot. I like it too.
You don't think it's not your favorite?
It is my favorite. It's my favorite.
All right, don't front on the people.
Okay, Su Pollo has our favorite Peruvian chicken. There's Ruby Jamaican Kitchen, which is unsurprisingly Jamaican food.
Right.
There's Mama's Italian Kitchen. So there are lots of strip malls along Route 1, and in every strip mall, you're gonna find some small restaurant that is just gonna have a lot of people in a relatively small space, and that's just the key that's a pretty good spot to eat.
So Crystal just told you about the Richmond Highway offerings. In Kingstown, there's going to be not necessarily more restaurants, but there's the Kingstown Town Center, which has several restaurants to offer or to choose from. One of the main ones I would say that people kind of remark about is going to be Bonefish Grill. If you're not familiar with Bonefish Grill, I would say it's more of an upscale.
It's a more upscale chain, but at the same time, we still have a lot of smaller owned restaurants there. There's Pasera Thai food there. There's Aditi, which is like the best Indian food in the area, at least in my opinion. There's Osaka, which is a Japanese steakhouse there. So there's lots of different things, not just chains, in the Kingstown Town Center. So that's pretty cool to be so close to the subdivision and not necessarily have to go out to try different ethnic foods. So in Lansdowne, which is in the greater Kingstown area, there's also gonna be a lot of different restaurants, including taco spots and every type of Asian food you could think of. There's Chinese, Korean, Japanese, and Thai, all in that little strip mall.
That's true. I never thought about that.
They have it all. On top of that, there's Olympia's, which is a Greek family-style restaurant. I absolutely love it.
With great portions.
Great portions. Great portions, great food, friendly service. And what I like most about them is that they are really supportive of the area schools. We have, 4 elementary schools in the neighborhood, and they do fundraisers with all of them each school year, which I think is just a plus, in addition to the great food.
Krista knows about that. You know about that because she was on the PTA, so
yes,
that's why she bought that fun little fact that you may not find on other channels. That's because we're bringing it to you first. For the old people, you know that came from the MTV.
That is I'm sorry, that's the former PTA president in me right there. One more spot we have in Lincolnia is gonna be the Foxfire Grill. It's a great American casual style restaurant. And one cool thing that people seem to like about it is dogs are welcome on their patio.
Let's end with one of my favorite restaurants, or not restaurants, but it's a bakery. It's called Bread and Water. And
they have a cafe.
That's true. It's called Bread and Water, and it is in the Fort Hunt area. there's this delicious roll. If you're gonna go, you have to get the Miami roll. Now, they don't have a lot of these Miami rolls, so I wouldn't recommend that everyone who's watching this video go at the same time.
Go in the morning.
Go in the morning. You have to go in the morning. Get yourself a Miami roll. But if you're gonna go for lunch, there is this delicious sandwich that has like some type of pork.
It's a pork sandwich that you really like.
It's a pork sandwich that is so delicious.
On a house-made baguette.
Oh,
he really enjoys it.
It's so, Actually, I'm going to go stop there after we film this video because we're right down the street from them. And I think that this is a great place to end this video.
You really want that Miami roll, huh?
I do, we're going. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate your views. We appreciate you liking this video, subscribing to the channel. If you like this video, you know, it costs you nothing and it helps us get this video to other people who are interested in this type of content. And kid you not, it's a positive feedback loop, right? We like to get affirmation that people like these videos. And so do us a favor, like this video and let us know in the comment section. Did you learn something new today? What did you learn new today about the Alexandria area? And if you're from Alexandria, because we know we have a lot of friends that live in the Alexandria area that watches our videos, thank you all. What do you like about living in Alexandria? Let the people in the comment section know that information. If you want to get in touch with us, my phone number is going to be right here, along with my email address. I am the individual who answers all of those communications. And another way to get in touch with me is through the Perfect Home questionnaire. That's gonna be a link in the description. Fill out that form and we will meet online and answer any questions that you have about moving to the area.
That's it. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to turn on notifications.
Excellent. We'll see you on the next video. Peace.